Breaking news morning, a Washington, D.C. Metro officer has been arrested and charged with attempting to provide material to support ISIS. Nicholas Young, a veteran with the Capitol's Region's Transit Police Department, who was there since 2003, was arrested at his office this morning by FBI agents without incident. He's the first law enforcement officer arrested on ISIS-related charges. Of course, we're going to have more on this breaking story as it develops in just a couple minutes.
President Obama turning the heat up on Donald Trump, questioning his ability and saying that he is woefully unprepared to serve in the White House. This is what he said yesterday.
I think the Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president. I said so last week, and he keeps on proving it. This isn't a situation where you have an episodic gaffe. This is daily and weekly.
What Obama said today in the White House, standing next to a foreign leader, I thought was pretty despicable for President of the United States to be that harsh about his potential successor. I mean, talk about undermining the United States of America. Barack Obama potentially did that today.
What about that second point? Mike Huckabee now, the former governor, Fox News contributor. How are you, Governor? Good morning. Good morning to you. Listen, you saw the exchange, standing next to the Prime Minister of Singapore. Was that out of line?
I think it was, but it's not that unusual for President Obama, who politicizes everything. I mean, since his first year in office, Bill, he's apologized all over the world for America. He's bowed to Saudi kings. I think he's royally messed up our foreign policy, where nobody respects us or fears us anywhere on the globe. We're learning about this incredibly disgusting deal with Iran. I mean, we go on and on, but here's the big picture. I've always heard that news is not when dog bites man, that's normal. It's when man bites dog. So there's nothing unusual here, because every year since 1948 and Thomas Dewey, the Democrats have always said that the Republican was unfit to serve. He was unqualified. The only exception was Dwight Eisenhower in 1952. I mean, my gosh, roll back the clock 4 years and listen to what Obama was saying about Romney, how that he was totally unprepared to lead, completely not ready for this office, diplomatically or any other way. So this is pretty normal. It's disgusting, but normal.
This is how Trump responded to that last night. This was with O'Reilly, I do believe. Watch.
I think she's got a bad temperament for winning. I don't think she's a winner. And our country has to win. Hey, look, you've known me a long time. You know more about my temperament than probably most people. And what I've done my whole life is win. I win. And you saw that. We had 17 people, and I ended up winning very easily, by the way, not like tough, very easily.
Governor, you've been a supporter for a while now of Trump. And if he's all about winning, how do you explain the sort of the whack-a-mole policy that he has exercised on an hourly basis?
Well, one of the things that I think we have to keep in mind is not so much what Donald Trump says when he's a candidate, it's what he's going to do if he's president. And one thing's going to happen, he's going to be surrounded by a whole lot more people than he is as a candidate. He has a very lean operation. He doesn't have a whole lot of people surrounding him. I think he probably won't have his own Twitter account when he's president. There's going to be a lot of things different. But here's what's going to be something that will be comforting. He will appoint a Supreme Court very different than that of Hillary. He will appoint people to lead agencies like the EPA and the FCC and the FEC and the SEC, very different from Hillary. He will lead in terms of our overall direction with foreign governments in a very different way, and he's not going to push phony reset buttons with Russia, go bowing to foreign kings and apologizing for America. So the choice is still clear. Yes, there are things Donald Trump says I wouldn't say, and I wouldn't advise him to say. But I'm less worried about something he says now than I am with what Hillary would in fact do if she were president.
Two more points. I have to get them quickly, okay? Jeff Weaver is the former campaign manager for Bernie Sanders. No fan of Donald Trump, said this. I certainly think she can win, yes, but it's going to be much closer than many people think. I think some people on the Democratic side who think that, Trump is such a buffoon that it's already won, but I think he's a very dangerous opponent, and I think he certainly has the ability to win as well. When you put that in the context of this Iran story today, how do people see that? How did they view her or even separate her from the past 8 years?
You can't separate her from the past 8 years. She is woven in the rug of it all, and I think that's why Donald Trump is still going to be the president. One of the things that's very clear, this is not an ideological election, and a lot of Republicans still haven't figured that out. This is a disruptive election. It was with Bernie, it was with Donald Trump. Most Americans feel that the big institutions, financial, political, and media, have completely failed them. They don't want someone to come in and oil the machinery. They want someone to come and dismantle the machinery and get this country in a totally different direction. And that's why I think Hillary's in a whole lot more trouble than a lot of the media people think, a lot of the institutionalists think, and I think they're going to be surprised in November.
6 o'clock tonight, Eastern Time, we've got new head-to-head polls coming up by Fox. Stay tuned then, Governor. Thank you for your time now. Mike Huckabee there, the former governor of Arkansas. Thank you, sir.
All right, speaking of Donald Trump, the media having a field day with him this week, even going as far as calling him flat out crazy. But our own Howie Kurtz says it may be the media that's nuts. We're going to hear from him coming up.
Also, this wasn't par for the course. I said I was playing the Titleist too. I did not go in that water, Liz. Find out what led to the flying fish.
Ay, ay, ay.
All right, check it out.
Tensions are high in the courts.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact,
Hi, I'm William Devane. And right now, there's a serious